is the grand opening of the reading tent today. We're gonna be exploring this book.
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
All right, let's go, let's go.
The grand opening of the tent!
Okay, so
You
how
have to
do
make our registrations here. Call.
call?
Call.
Okay, so what's the number to call?
You just pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello?
What is this?
This is Mama. I'm here to read a book.
Okay, we have you on the list. Please come in.
Thank you.
Hello. 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 Who is this? Baby brother. Which one? Joel Hernandez. Let me see the list. Where's the list? He's here. Okay, please come in. Oh, this is fun. Hello. Hello. Who is this?
It's your second little brother
Who is that?
at the end.
Again, what?
Hernandez.
Your list. Let's write your list. Yes. Yes, come in, please. We have you on list. Please place the phone down properly.
You have an Indian.
That's not work, what, please. Thank you. I'm sitting on the book. Don't fight.
He's got an Indian accent. The tent owner has an Indian accent.
Okay. We need the lighting, please. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is he gonna?
It's too big. Yeah, like that. It's too big.
No, it's not. Just suck.
Okay.
Oh.
So we're gonna read today. Where did we leave yesterday?
Left off, not there. It won't
Oh.
get to Porky.
This one was where we read, right?
So we're on this part.
Yeah. Anybody remembers what was happening yesterday?
No. Yeah. No, wait, we're on this part. We're on the other, because I remember he asked him, I want to find him.
Okay. So
No.
yesterday we left at the part where Paul, or no, the old Paul, Saul,
Poop.
went into the court to try to sue the people that were preaching Jesus. One of them especially was Stephen. Stephen, yeah.
Steven.
So here you go. Look.
This is, wait, Mommy. This is Steven. So you in the way. Okay.
Let me- Okay, so let me read really quickly. It says,
Good, yeah. Get the video.
oh yeah, you're right. We already read this.
This is Steven.
Yeah, that's Stephen. Yes.
Yeah, we saw this.
This one is Stephen over here. So this is Saul, the old, right here. So this is
guy?
no, that's no. Stephen is. I think it is this one. Over here.
The fat one?
Yeah. See here, you can see him.
Wait, let me see. Let me see where's... Oh, that's...
Okay.
That one kind of looks like this one.
Uh-huh. So anyway, so then Paul brought him to court, and it says, Stephen, the accusation, blasphemy.
Which one's
We demand a response. And then Stephen says, I have done nothing wrong. We heard him. It wasn't hard. He never stops speaking against the temple, sparkling
Is this
against
Stephen?
the law.
Is this Steven?
Yes. Saying that crazy carpenter Jesus will destroy this holy place. You stand accused, they said.
Who's this?
Brothers and fathers,
Bolero.
hear me, he says. I am Hebrew, just
Mommy.
like you.
This is a Bolero.
Yeah. My tongue might speak Greek, but the Torah I have written in my heart, he says. My fathers are your fathers.
We read that part.
Yeah, I know. I just remember that we did. So then we
didn't
go
read
into
this
the next part. Yeah, the next part. It says, the 12 brothers who sold their brother Joseph to slavery, Jacob, who was the father of the 12 patriarchs, Isaac, who was the father of Jacob, who received the circumcision covenant with God, Joseph, you only can talk when it's time for questions, okay? Joseph was given the wisdom of God and goodwill of the Pharaoh. Moses, who heard God speak from the flames of a bush, who gave his family forgiveness when they sought relief from Egypt. David, the king, who asked that he might build a dwelling place for the Lord. Solomon, who built a permanent temple where the Most High might live. And Abraham, who left his country when God told him and blessed him when God promised him. And then he goes on and on and on, like basically naming all the people, saying, guys, yeah, he goes like, guys, like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not against you. I'm not against what you're teaching. All the people that you love are also the people that I love. Moses, Jacob, Isaac, Abraham. He doesn't understand why he's being sued.
Wait, that's Stephen, right?
Yes.
Who's this? Jesus, right?
Yeah. Our forefathers who brought the tabernacle with the Ark of Covenant and the commandments into the promised land. And he goes and on speaking about like who these different people are. And he's trying to argue with them that he's not doing anything wrong.
Why don't you read it?
And then he gets so upset. He goes, who built the temple? Who saw it cast to the ground?
I can't see, Mama.
Who built the temple again? Who ignored these words of the prophet? Whose bodies were Jewish? Our forefathers who persecuted the prophets, who killed those who predicted the coming of the righteous one who came to set us free, who brought wisdom and love and mercy and forgiveness. You stiff-necked, you betrayed and murdered him. Oh, he's telling them as it is. He's like, you guys killed Jesus. You did all these things, and you've forgotten that we're all family coming from the same place. Mm-hmm.
So Stephen is this one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wait, Mama.
Yeah.
Which one's Jesus here?
Well, Jesus is in the cross right now.
But which
He's not really in the picture. These are just the different religious leaders that he's talking
this?
about that were accusing him of doing something wrong.
Why did you say naked? And who is this?
Next. It's supposed
Oh,
to
stiff-necked? Stiff-necked
But
means...
why did he say naked?
No, he didn't say naked. He said stiff-necked.
It's just
Then you-
Like when your neck is hard, that's when a person is stubborn donkey. It's another way of saying you are so uptight that you won't admit that Jesus came to save us, and you murder him because he was different. I like it a lot. Mm-hmm.
How did Jesus even get nails in here?
Because they
yours.
did it.
Not yours.
So do we know what it means to be
When he
stiff-necked?
walked.
Yeah.
Neck?
Uptight.
Uptight, yeah.
Stubborn.
Okay.
Burrow.
He.
Oh, that's the.
And who was he saying were the stiff-necked people?
That's Peter.
Alexa, turn off. That's 3:30.
The religious leaders that were like so hard-headed that didn't want to believe that Jesus came to the
leader
earth.
of each state.
Yeah, all those the elite. Remember?
Look, Mom, this is Peter, right?
The people that had the money and the knowledge.
Mom, this is Peter, right? Mom,
Yeah.
this is Peter, right?
Okay.
Wait. Mom, you need one of those. You need a magnifying glass where you could use these.
Okay, so then Stephen continues to talk and he goes, "This is not blasphemy of the law that I speak, but fulfillment. You have received the law of God, but you have not
Why is he
obeyed
smiling
it."
on this part?
He's saying that blasphemers, heretic, somebody silence this fool, these people scream. Look, heaven opens. The Lord Jesus stands at the right hand of the Father. And so the judgment. Shut your mouth, you fool, they tell him. Take him outside the city gates. By Roman law, they could not give a death sentence. Because he's a Roman citizen, they cannot give him a Roman death. But they were just basically arguing. And his blasphemy is basically lying. And he's saying, I'm not blaspheming against the law that you taught me. I'm speaking fulfillment of the prophecies that were to come.
Oh, shoot.
So then, but this was beyond Roman law, was it not? And out of the Shannon's hands. And then it looks like it was like raining.
Yeah, it's raining. But it doesn't look.
Sometimes Stephen talks so much.
Yeah, and then he goes,
I think
there's
this is
only
like that.
one way out of this, to end this. Here, let me help you. His sin is against God and God's people.
Wait, Mom. Mom. I forgot something.
He talks a lot.
Yeah, no, there's many characters talking right now.
No, but he's the most.
And then he says, the blasphemers will speak his lies no more, the religious leaders say.
Is that Paul?
Lord Jesus, he
Yeah,
says,
Is that Saul?
receive my spirit. Lord Jesus. Still he prays
Yeah,
his
that's Paul.
dead carpenter.
Mom,
Mom, this is
Saul?
Paul.
That's Saul.
Yeah, that's Saul, yeah.
I
And
thought it said Paul.
that's his
That's his own
his
name.
old
yeah.
name, yeah. So Steve just keeps praying, like while he was in trouble, he was just praying, Jesus, Jesus, take my soul. And then Saul is saying like, oh man, like he's in so much trouble and he's still praying
killing him right
for that dead, for the dead carpenter. In Saul's mind, it doesn't make any sense that he's in such a trouble, yet he's still praying to what they think is a dead man.
Mom, I know this. Do not haul.
Yeah.
Why is it not showing them?
This sin, do not hold it against them. So even though Steve's dying, he's praying to God to basically forgive him and not punish them for what they're doing.
Is he bleeding?
This guy goes, did you hear him? He deserves every stone and then some.
Wait, Mom, who's this? What is this blood?
These are just different people right now.
Is this blood though?
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
doesn't want to show.
Heard lies. This was criminal. His heart full of forgiveness. Please. In my heart, I knew. See, Steve is about to get stoned and he's asking for mercy from the Father to those people. And Saul still doesn't understand it. Like, how can he say that? He's a liar and a criminal. Because in Saul's mind, Steve was really sinning against God.
He did. Mom,
In his mind and what he has been taught.
Mom.
Right.
Mom, he just doesn't have God in his head. He didn't ask for a forgiveness.
Right. He only had knowledge of the law. He only knew the word and the commandments, but his heart hasn't been
Now I feel
changed.
bad for Stephen.
Yeah, it's
Okay, but now this is now where he's a good guy.
yeah. And so
He looks so much cooler.
Well, that's not where he's a good guy.
That's where he's the bad
the
guy.
time, teachers, is now, and I am the one to do it. My devotion to our ways and our God cannot be disputed. Neither can the threat these people pose to our ways. But these people cannot possibly pose a threat to our God.
Mom,
These fools disobeyed your commands, escape our prisons, and preach lies. God uses the hands of men to do his work. David and the giant, Moses and the Exodus, Joshua and Jericho. This is my calling. You put yourself in distinguished company, but like you, each of those men had a calling to serve God and to serve his people. I see you in that.
Mom,
What happened today cannot happen again. Making Stephen a martyr adds to the resolve. We give you permission to hunt them down.
Mom,
Hold on. And arrest them and bring them here for judgment. You can trust me, high priest, says Saul.
Mom. Is this the good guy Saul or the bad guy Saul?
This is the bad guy Saul.
Also,
Yeah.
jeez.
So after he brought Stephen to the temple to be judged by the religious leaders, and Steve did not renounce Jesus, and they killed him, they stoned him to death.
The Paul one is the one that's old.
Yeah,
Hey,
then
Mom, what is this? Whose is this?
I
No,
haven't
but
read
then he
yet.
shaves.
Then Saul now has proven to the religious leaders that in his mind he's right, and that he gets permission to go persecute
Mommy,
everyone
what's
else that acts like Stephen, that preaches the word, and he goes out to hunt
Mom.
them.
Mom,
Mom,
all I know is he's an alien.
God, but now today they don't care.
Mom, all I know is he's an
Nobody
alien.
cares if they're not Christian. They're just Christian.
Mom, I
What do
know.
you mean who?
Like
He's saying nobody cares about God anymore. Like not
no, not
not
they
caring. but, like,
don't.
they don't like follow him, right? That's trying to work.
No, I'm trying to say is like they don't kill Christians now.
Yeah.
And
Not in the U.S., but in
Yeah,
other
in
parts
other
of the world.
places,
Yes,
yeah.
they do.
Mom, I know this is an alien.
It's just representing different people in the story. So anyway, so that's how we're gonna end for today, okay? With Paul having now permission to go out and
kill.
chase the Christians.
No.
The end.
The end.
Anybody has any questions?
Thankful for everybody that came here for the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll take me a while
We
to
took
build
$500 from your bank account, so yeah, thank you.
What? How much?
$500.
$500 to rent this tent?
Yeah.
Man, Daniel, you cheap. You done maybe 20 minutes for $500
Yeah.
Total.
for all of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
500 divided by 3.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. We'll pay tomorrow. God will give us the money.
I only have $5.
That's all right.